talk about how we got here. Paalala ko tuloy yung first heartbreak ko. Bigla na lang one day, tinanong ko yung ating partner, did we get here? So how did we really get here? Let me just take you a little to my younger days as a student in the 70s. At that time, student activism was really big time. The onslaught of the communism idea in China was so popular, we shouted Mao, Lenin, blah, blah, blah. But what was outstanding during those periods was our collective protest to demand the dismantling of the establishment. So at that time, the establishment meant basically the sectors that controlled the economy, the society, which was actually the oligarchy. So at that time, Marcos Sr., who was gunning for a second and an unlimited term, shouted with the masses, down with the oligarchy. He was going to destroy oligarchy. So when he declared martial law, people actually resonated with his cry that in order to have social injustice removed, destroyed, we have to kill oligarchy. And that's what he did. He actually did. But the problem was, he gave birth to another form of oligarchy, which was even worse. The idea of cronyism. We all know that. In fact, that was the reason why he was ousted in 1986. So when he was ousted, we thought that we would be gaining a good ground for a better country under Cory Aquino. But we all know what happened. Cronyism continued and in fact got worse. The establishment was never broken. In 2016, a provinciano, a bastos individual from Mindanao, suddenly appeared from nowhere and became president. He had no connection with Imperial Manila. All he had was his old classmates from San Beda. But he had no connection with the establishment. So what did he do? He destroyed it. Unlike Marcos, who did not. Unlike Marcos Sr., who did not. So he asked Mighty Tobacco to pay 30 billion in back taxes that Mighty Tobacco had to close. He gave Blue Shutan, how many months? 6? To pay 6 billion in back taxes for using the airport for many years without any payment of taxes. He warned the Ayala Group and the Pangilinan Group of Manila Water and Maynila to serve the public with enough and potable water, otherwise he will cancel their franchises. He asked Marcos crony Roberto Ompi to pay his taxes in Web Philippines, otherwise he's gonna close it, and then Compin chose to close it voluntarily. What else? He got the mile-long property of the Prietos in Makati. Many more. That's what this provinciano, this bastos did. And we thought, or most activists thought, that this would continue. That is why in 2022, the unit team was born. The unit team was born despite of Marcos Jr.'s family history of plundering the country. It was born on the premise that Marcos Jr. would not do what his father did, that's one, and two, that he would continue with the programs and plans of the Duterte administration, including its foreign policy. But the Marcos administration clearly was founded on deceit, betrayal, and corruption. Even at the start of the campaign, Marcos Jr. bribed corrupted members or officers of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, of which I belong. Is that a warning? No? I can stop. Oh, so where was I? Marcos Jr. founded his administration on corruption, dishonesty, and betrayal, right at the start even of the campaign. Before he registered his candidacy, Marcos Jr. bribed the officers of the Partido Federal ng Pilipinas for him to use the party. He gave 10 million pesos to 2 PFP officers just to be able to use the party. I actually disclosed this to party members, but they could not believe what I said until the publication of Attorney Vic Rodriguez's book, The Kingmaker, where he mentioned on page 292 that indeed 2 PFP officers asked and got 10 million from Bongbong Marcos. Indeed, that was an ominous sign of this administration's corruption, deceit, and dishonesty. In Attorney Vic Rodriguez's book, he also mentioned about discussing with Marcos Jr. a government that is going to be run with good governance. In his book again, when Marcos Jr. won, Attorney Rodriguez reminded him, "Sir, Mr. President, we will do well. We should do well." And then Marcos Jr. said, "Yes, we will do well." That was the promise. But what happened? Even before Marcos could even warm his seat in Malacanang, the good governance that Attorney Rodriguez was pushing for never happened. In fact, he became a victim of intrigues inside Malacanang. Can you imagine, as early as 30 days into this administration, I got 160 intelligence reports against Attorney Vic Rodriguez. Among them, an incredible bank account in foreign banks. But of course, we all know now that that was a propaganda, the worst kind of propaganda, because the guy was just trying to establish a good government, and yet the snake pit that is Malacanang pushed for him to be eased out of Malacanang so they could do their thing. That started why we all are here. So we know what happened. During the early part of the Marcos administration, Attorney Vic Rodriguez saw Martin Romualdez and Attorney Mitch Lazaro talking to the president, convincing him to appoint a certain Altenco to head the PAGCOR instead of the one that Attorney Vic recommended. So what happened? Altenco, Martin Romualdez, and even Mitch Lazaro are now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how to term it, but there's a case in the US now that actually implicates all of these three in the Okada ownership dispute, where, according to witnesses, Martin Romualdez was given a luggage that is so heavy that estimates say is about 3 billion pesos. And this situation is rife with incredible corruption. Where can you find a teacher or a professor who would become a congresswoman that who used to wear SM bags and Broadway gems are now the fashion icon of Congress? Fashion icon. With a population of 240,000 people in Marikina, she was able to get 300 million ayudas and 3 billion in infra projects. Saltico was identified by Sarah as one of the two individuals holding the purse of the government. Is the contractor of a 6.9 billion project in Tacloban. And if we Google, not even the Google is free, you Google. Saltico is involved in so many unscrupulous dealings. So why are we here? And then what did they do? What did they do with the unit team? They broke it. Because they're not for unit team, they're only for the perpetuation of its power and wealth. Look at the difference between let us term it because they are there, right? But to me, what I am talking about is branding, brand. Look at the Marcos and Duterte brand, because I'm going to stress the point later. Marcos Jr., in stepping in Malacanang, instead of focusing on the problems of our agriculture, you know the first project that he spent hundreds of millions? Renovate the entire Malacanang. Renovate. I'm an architect. I loved how they did it, but I didn't like the act. Why would you prioritize something that is not a priority? Duterte stayed in Malacanang comfortably as is where is. But Marcos Jr.'s first project was to renovate the entire Malacanang, including the Laparan House. And look at their priorities in infrastructure. Just a stone's throw away from 2 exhibition centers in the cultural center of the Philippines, they are building an 18 billion exhibition center. And as if that is not enough, they're going to construct another stadium in Clark for 32 billion. When what we need to decrease the cost of rice are farm machineries, farm-to-market roads, and support to farmers. Look at the Duterte brand. Look at Sara Duterte. You mean it like the way she speaks. You mean it. No, you mean it. I'm coming to you. You mean it. Davao has 9 billion in income per year. The Dutertes have been mayor there for almost 25 years. Did they enrich themselves? No. Chismis lang yan because I'm also from Davao. I can also call myself from Davao and I know their lifestyle. Kasi hindi ko mahilig ng sindinong na may local. You give it to the guy. But that's all. That's all. That's all unlike what we see glaringly in Congress. They so love and proud to flaunt their ill-gotten wealth. So I hope that we take challenge on what Attorney Trixie said earlier. I don't know exactly, but actually what she meant was the time to act is now. You are all, you know, there's something that I just want to say. I'm not sure if you can relate with the poverty that the country is suffering because you all look rich. But we are gifted with common sense. We don't even have to experience poverty to know poverty. You just consider how the country could have benefited if our politicians spend our money right. Yun lang. But don't be too sure. Because even as middle class, we might get hit. Simbaho, that's what we call in Bisaya. We might be hit one way or another. But above all, I think it is our duty because we are the ones who have the capacity to think, to analyze, to act. But I hope that we do the cudgels for our people. Grabe talaga. Ako, I see how people suffer. Nakakagalit. Nakakagalit because lantaran talaga. Karapalan, lantaran. Parang wala na silang konsyensya. They're just so ruthless. Ruthless. Ako na lang, pasensya na sa mga babae, but, you know, my wife is also, medyo may pagkabing, but we work hard for it. We work hard for it. But, Stella Kimbo, show me your income, Representative Kimbo. Show it to me. Akala ko isang relo lang. What a huge promise. My God. Saan kumukuha talaga? Saan humuhugot yung kapal ng mukha? You know why? Because there is already impurity all over. Talagang wala na eh. There's no more order. No law or order and no, not even peace. So, I don't know. But what I know is that we the people have the power to get back at these people. We have the power. And one of our powers is this coming midterm elections. Talk to your family. Dine with your family and talk to them about our country. And ask them to talk about this to their friends. That is why we are here. That is why we are here. Because we might be living comfortably. But simbaho talaga, we might get hit as well, even as middle class. But above all, let us do this for our country. Thank you very much.